Hi guys, my name is Vamshi. Today I am going to explain what is constructor in Java and how many types of constructors in Java. First, see what is constructor in Java. A constructor in Java is a block of code syntactically similar to a method that is used to initialize the state of an object in class. So you have to remember this point. If you apply a private access method for this Java constructor, you cannot create the object for the class in other classes. If you are using access modifier as a private, you cannot create the object for the class in other classes. You have to remember this is the very important point. And next, characteristics of Java constructor. Let us see what is the characteristics of Java constructor. The constructor name must be exactly same as the class name. And second point is constructor should not have any return type, even void also. And next point is Java constructor may or may not be content parameters. And constructor is automatically called executed by JVM at the time of object creation. And next, a constructor is automatically called and executed by JVM at the time of object creation. Next point is it is always called and executed only per object. This means when the object is of the class is created, the constructor is called. When we create second object, the constructor is again called during the second time. And the sixth point is whenever we can create object of a class, the constructor automatically calls by the JVM. If we don't define any constructor inside the class, the Java compiler automatically creates a default constructor at a compile time and assign the default values for the variables declared in the class. And the default values for the variables are follows. Numeric variables are set to 0, strings are set to null, Boolean variables are set to false. And how many types of constructor in Java means like we have three types of constructor. First one is default constructor, second one is non-parameterized constructor, third one is parameterized constructor. Let us see what is the default constructor with practically. Let us step into our Eclipse ID and do the program. And we have to create one package called constructor com.vamshi.constructors. Here we have three types of constructor. First one is default constructor. We have to, I'm explaining this constructor now. Default constructor, and I am taking the class as saving account as a class name, and I have to declare some fields like our instance variables, like declaring instance variables long account number string account folder name long or double balance. These fields are enough for now. Now we have to create the object for this saving account. For that, declare main method in our class. I am creating the object for the saving account, and reference variable new. New is a keyword which is used to allocate the memory in the heap area for storing the objects, and we have to call the constructor saving account of. Now the constructor will be called, and the default values will be set to. For the numbers it will be 0 and strings it will be null, because we are not using any constructor internally. If you are not defining any constructor, The compiler will insert a default constructor internally. So for that, for this way, for printing these variables, I write one method public void get account info sysop for the printing statement account number number control space control get control space account number and copy and paste for easy purpose and account folder next balance next we have to set this control space account holder name next control space balance. Here we have to call this method through the reference variable. Here saving account is the reference variable which is pointing to the object of the memory location. Saving account dot call the get account info method. Here right click run as Java application. So here the value should be set to this instance variable like 0, null, and for the double 0.0 because we are not initializing this instance variable through the default constructor. So we have to this is the method. This is the method to expose the business logic of the application. Here object is created by new keyword. Here use a keyword which is used to locate the memory in the heap area for storing the objects and here calling the method with the help of reference variable. This is the default constructor. Now we have to see what is the non-parameterized constructor. Non-parameterized constructor. Let us see what is the non-parameterized constructor through the nodes first. I'm sharing the screen. A constructor which has no parameters in the parenthesis but contains the statements inside the body is called non-parameterized constructor. We also call it as non-argument constructor. A non-parameterized constructor has the name as the same signature as the default constructor, except for only one difference between them. Using the non-parameterized constructor, we can initialize the values for the instance variables. So how to initialize the instance variable by using non-parameterized constructor? Let us see. I'm sharing my screen. Here, create the class called recurring FD account, and here I am declare some fields or declare some instance variable. Declaring instance variables, instance instance variables like RFA cust account number. Here we have to declare that type now. Long and string RFA customer name and declare two more fields like string RFA IFSC code string RFA branch. Here the double string RFA double. Here declaration of instance variables is completed. Now we have to declare non-parameterized constructor. For simple, shift R control space, we get some suggestion recurring FD account and hit enter. Automatically it will be generated. Next, we have to create the object for the recurring FD account. Control space recurring FD account and control space FD account new recurring constructor. When this constructor called, the values will be set to instance variable like 0, null, 0.0, here, null, null, because we are not initializing. So that's why the values, but the defaults will be set. Now we have to initialize these values. Let us check through the method public void get RFA account info. This is the method. So I am editing the statements for the instance variable RFA account number control space account number and copy paste Now customer name, RFA account, RFA cust to name, customer here, RFA cust account, a cust name. Next, sorry, here is a double, double balance. No, RFA balance with control space balance. Next, IFSC code, IFSC code, IFSC code, branch, control space branch. Now, let us check what the values should be assigned to this instance variable. So we have to call this method for this FD account dot get info control space SR source, sorry, run as Java application. So the default value should be set to the instance variable because we are not initializing through the constructor. So now we have to initialize. So what is the use of non-parameterized constructor? It is used to initialize the instance variables. So we have to do like RFA account number 1000111, RFA account name Vamshi. Next, RFA balance 5000, RFA IFSC code SBI 678 MTPL RFA branch MTPL. Now we have to see the values should be initialized to the values. These values should be set to these instance variable or not, but through the constructor run as Java application. Now the value should be set. So now we have to see what is the parameterizer constructor. Through the nodes. So now I'm sharing my screen. Here parameterized constructor. A constructor that takes one or more parameters and contains statements inside the body is called parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor is used to provide the different values to different objects. It allows to initialize instance variables with unlike values. In the case of default constructor, values remain the identical for objects. Let us see through the example. And node, you have to remember this node. We cannot define two constructor with the same number of parameters and the same types. Let us see what will let us see implement this parameterized constructor through the Eclipse. And create the package called package called parameterized constructor. So let us see what is parameterized constructor, and taking a class as right click, class. Hmm, class as what class name should we take? Fixed term, fixed term, cd account, cd account generate. Now the class will be generated. Now we have to give, or we have to declare some instance variables, like declare instance variables. Now we have to declare long fixed term ft, uh, fixed term fta, customer number string fta, customer name, next string or double, available balance, next ifsc code, string ifsc code, string branch, and string landmark. One landmark, string address, address one, string address two, and string city, string state, string enough. We have to declare one, two more, like here, not a balance. We have to declare SSN number, SSN social security number. This long, and next, and next mailing address also. String mailing address. Next, tenure int tenure double rate of interest double FTA or FTA fixed deposit amount. Now the declaration of instance variables is completed. Now we have to generate parameterized constructor. Source generate constructor using fields. Select all. Generate. Control Shift F for code format. And now we have to declare one main method in our class. And now create the object for the our class. Fixed term account. Control space. Fixed term CD account. New fixed term. Here we're getting the suggestions like we are here taking the parameters. Here it is a parameterized constructor. So that's why. So we are giving the values in the parameter. So that's why we are getting the parameters here. Control space. Enter. Now we have to pass the values like customer number 10001, customer name Vamshi, and SSN number 33803066. For SSN number, I'm giving a long, so this is the long numbers, put L. And next mailing address vamshi@gmail.com. IFSC code SBI 7766 APL branch MTPL landmark address. Address one. Address two. City Karimnagar Ajayapur Ajayapur Telangana. Then with 2 years rate of interest 6.5. 90,000. Here I'm setting the values through the constructor. Now we have to call the or we have to print the object. For that we no need to write again and again method. For that we should for that I am creating one toString method to display the our details in the object format, and I'm calling this reference variable. So automatically it will call. Now check the result. It has Java application. The values are set perfectly. This is the one way to parameterize a constructor. For the notes, I will give in the link in the description. Thank you. Bye.